Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world that glorifies speed but struggles with focus. Every beep, every notification, every scroll pulls our attention in 100 directions. But here's the truth. Distractions are the silent killers of dreams. They don't just delay your goals, they steal your future 1 minute at a time. Progress is not just about effort, it's about intentional, uninterrupted effort. You can have the best vision, the greatest potential, but if your energy is scattered, your results will be average. You can't build an empire with a distracted mind. Distractions are seductive. They promise quick relief, fun, entertainment, but at what cost? Your goals need sacrifice. They need your time, your discipline, and most of all, your undivided attention. Every time you choose distraction over discipline, you delay the person you're supposed to become. If you want success, if you want progress, you have to become a guardian of your attention. You must design your environment so your focus becomes natural and your distractions become difficult. Remember, greatness doesn't come from doing many things halfway. It comes from doing one thing with relentless focus. So today, make a promise to yourself to silence the noise, to protect your peace, to respect your time because your progress depends on it. In a world overloaded with information, true clarity is a rare and powerful asset. Without focus, you become like a ship without a compass, sailing aimlessly, reacting to every wave instead of directing your own course. The truth is, you can't gain clarity by dividing your attention among dozens of distractions. Clarity is born in silence. It is forged in the quiet moments where your mind is locked onto a single thought, a single goal, a single purpose. Think about it. Have you ever tried to have a deep conversation while checking your phone every few seconds? Or tried solving a problem while watching a video in the background? That's not real thinking. That's shallow, that's surface-level effort. Progress is made in depth, not in speed, not in volume, but in deep, sustained focus. When your mind is clear and focused, you begin to see things others miss. Patterns emerge, ideas come alive, decisions become easier, priorities reveal themselves. But when you're scattered, overwhelmed, and mentally cluttered, everything feels urgent, yet nothing truly moves forward. You begin mistaking movement for progress, busyness for productivity, and chaos for momentum. Focus allows you to ask better questions. What really matters today? What will move the needle? What am I truly trying to achieve? It's in those moments, when distractions are silenced and your mind is sharp, that your life begins to align with your mission. The clearer your focus, the stronger your direction. The stronger your direction, the faster your progress. Focus is not just a tool, it is a weapon. A tool to cut through confusion, a tool to eliminate the unnecessary, a tool to go deep where others only skim the surface. Clarity then is not a luxury. It's not something you hope to find in your free time. It's something you deliberately create by protecting your attention and filtering what you allow into your world. And when you do that, when you ruthlessly focus on the things that matter most, one of the biggest lies we've been sold is that multitasking makes us more productive. That the more we juggle, the more we achieve, but the truth couldn't be further from that illusion. Multitasking doesn't make you efficient. It makes you fragmented. It divides your energy, your attention, and ultimately your effectiveness. Science has proven time and again that the human brain isn't wired for multitasking. What we call multitasking is really just rapid tasks. Switching. You're not doing multiple things at once. You're jumping from one thing to another over and over, bleeding energy every time you shift. And with every switch, you lose momentum, you lose flow, you lose depth. Imagine trying to read a book, answer emails, hold a conversation, and scroll social media all at once. You might feel busy. You might feel like you're doing a lot. But in reality, you're doing nothing well. Each task receives only a sliver of your attention, and that means your best thinking, your most creative problem solving, your sharpest insight, all get watered down. You sacrifice quality for quantity, and that sacrifice shows in your results. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in the world of personal growth and achievement. When you get into flow, when your attention is completely locked into a single task, You begin to move faster, think clearer, and create better. But that flow is fragile. It takes time to build and only seconds to break. Every text, every ping, every distraction pulls you out of that zone, forcing your brain to restart its focus engine again and again. This constant interruption has a hidden cost too. It leaves you mentally exhausted. You feel drained not because you worked hard, but because you worked scattered. Mental fatigue isn't always caused by overwork, it's often caused by overswitching. By trying to do too much, you end up doing less. You reach the end of the day wondering where the time went, frustrated that nothing meaningful got done. Real progress is made when you bring your full mind to a single task, block out the noise, and let momentum carry you forward. That's when breakthroughs happen. That's when you get more done in 1 hour than most do in a full day of multitasking. That's when your work becomes more than just effort. It becomes mastery. Time is the most precious currency you own. Once it's spent, it's gone forever. You can earn more money, you can rebuild your energy, you can repair relationships, but the minutes and hours lost to distraction are non-refundable. That's what makes them so dangerous. They slip by quietly, unnoticed, and when you finally realize how much you've lost, it's already too late. Every time you allow yourself to be pulled into a pointless notification, an unnecessary conversation, or a mindless scroll through social media, you're making a trade. You're exchanging the most valuable resource you have for something that offers you nothing in return. And the worst part is, it doesn't feel like a big deal in the moment. Just 5 minutes, just one quick check, just this one video, but 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, it compounds. Before you know it, you've lost entire days, weeks, even months to distractions that gave you nothing but regret. Progress doesn't die in one big dramatic collapse. It dies in small moments of compromise. The moments you say, "I'll do it later," while the clock keeps ticking, the moments you let comfort outweigh commitment, the moments you think you're resting, but you're really just running from the discomfort of growth. What makes distractions especially destructive is their ability to disguise themselves as harmless. They often come dressed as entertainment, as convenience, as harmless breaks. But behind the disguise, they rob you of the focused time you could be investing in your future. That online debate didn't build your business. That trending video didn't grow your mind. That gossip didn't bring you any closer to your goals. Ask yourself this. What could you have built by now if you had protected your time more fiercely? Where would you be if every hour spent chasing noise had instead been spent chasing your purpose? That's the uncomfortable truth we all have to face. Most people don't lack potential. They lack protection around their time. They don't need more talent. They need more intention. Because every hour you give to distraction is an hour taken away from your dreams. You can't get that hour back. You can't rewind the clock. All you can do is choose better from this moment on. Choose to recognize the cost of interruption. Choose to treat your time with the same value you would give to a rare and priceless treasure, because that's exactly what it is. Focus doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design, and one of the greatest influences on your ability to stay focused is the environment you place yourself in. You could have the strongest intentions, the clearest goals, and the deepest motivation. But if your surroundings are filled with distractions, clutter, noise, and temptations, your progress will always be limited. Your environment can either be your ally or your biggest enemy. Think about it. We are products of our surroundings. Your mind is constantly responding to what's around you visually, audibly, even emotionally. If your phone is constantly buzzing, if your room is chaotic, if your workspace is disorganized, if you're surrounded by people who don't respect your time or vision, then no matter how disciplined you are, your attention will leak. Not because you're weak, but because the space around you is working against you. But the good news is this: you have control over your environment. You can design it to work for you instead of against you. You can create a space that encourages clarity, simplicity, and deep work, that begins with intentional elimination, removing unnecessary notifications, silencing the noise, cleaning your desk, putting your phone in another room when it's time to focus. Focus. Friendly environments are quiet, clean, and free of chaos. Even the people you allow into your space matter. Are they builders or breakers? Do they fuel your mission or pull you off track? The energy you surround yourself with directly affects the energy you can give to your work. If you're constantly interrupted, constantly pulled into other people's drama, constantly dragged into things that don't align with your purpose, your progress will slow to a crawl. Take control of your space. Build systems around you that make focus easy and distraction difficult. Maybe it means using noise, canceling headphones. Maybe it means setting a timer and working in silence for blocks of time. Maybe it means hanging a sign on your door that says "Do not disturb." Whatever it is, understand this. Focus thrives in an environment of clarity and intention. Your environment is not just the physical space, it's also digital. It's the websites you visit, the apps you use, the tabs you keep open, the chaos on your desktop, the endless pings, alerts, and badges that scream for your attention every minute. If you want your mind to be clean, your digital space must be clean too. We often think that success belongs to those who are the most talented, the most inspired, or the most motivated. But in reality, it belongs to those who are the most disciplined. While willpower is emotional and temporary, discipline is structural and consistent. And when it comes to beating distractions and making progress, discipline wins every time. Willpower is like a battery, it drains, it fades. It depends on how you feel, how much sleep you got, whether you're stressed, hungry, overwhelmed. Some days you have it, other days you don't. That's why relying on willpower is risky. You might wake up with the best intentions, but if your discipline isn't in place, the moment life gets difficult, your goals will crumble. Distractions don't wait for you to feel strong. They don't care if you're in the mood to resist. They come consistently, and to beat them, you need something stronger than mood. You need a system. That system is discipline. Discipline isn't about being harsh with yourself. It's about being loyal to your future self, even when it's uncomfortable in the present. It's about creating routines that protect your focus and rituals that make the hard things automatic. Because when your day is structured with intention, you don't need to feel like it. You just do it. You don't have to debate whether or not you'll show up. You've already decided in advance. Discipline means setting boundaries for your time. It means saying no to things that look good but aren't aligned with your long-term vision. It means waking up early when your body says sleep. It means turning off your phone when your brain begs for entertainment. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like doing it. That's the difference between someone who dreams of progress and someone who builds it. The most successful people in the world aren't constantly pumped up or endlessly excited. They've simply trained themselves to act regardless of how they feel. They know that if they depend on motivation, they'll get results some of the time, but if they depend on discipline, they'll get results every time. You see, discipline is a kind of self-respect. It's a signal to the world and to yourself that you take your mission seriously, that you won't trade your focus for comfort, that you're willing to do what others won't so you can live how others can't. Most people imagine that only major events can derail their progress. Big failures, life-altering setbacks, massive obstacles. But what truly steals your potential isn't the big, dramatic moments. It's the small, invisible distractions that sneak into your daily routine. The quick checks, the 5-minute breaks, the just one scroll a moments. They feel harmless. They feel controllable. But over time, they become the silent killers of your momentum. You don't lose focus all at once. You lose it in fragments, one notification, one email, one video. These micro-interruptions may seem small, but they leave deep marks. Every time you shift your attention, it takes energy and time to return to the original task. In fact, studies show that it can take the brain up to 23 minutes to fully refocus after a single distraction. Now multiply that by every interruption in your day, and you begin to see how devastating these small moments really are. You think you're spending 10 minutes checking your phone, but what you're really doing is shattering the rhythm of your progress. You lose not just the minutes you spent scrolling, but also the emotional and cognitive flow you had built up. The creative energy, the strategic mindset, the problem-solving state, all of it is broken. All of it has to be rebuilt from zero, and the cost isn't just in productivity, it's in confidence. When your day is filled with half-finished tasks and constant interruptions, you start to feel scattered, overwhelmed, behind. You question your discipline. You lose trust in your ability to manage time. And slowly, silently, your identity shifts from someone who gets things done to someone who's always trying to catch up. All because of tiny, repeated distractions. That's the paradox. Small distractions don't feel dangerous, but their impact is enormous over time. It's like a small leak in a dam, barely noticeable at first, but eventually it can flood your entire life. What starts as innocent procrastination becomes a pattern of avoidance. What starts as a simple escape becomes a habit of delay. And the goals you once felt excited about slowly slip further and further into the distance. To protect your progress, you must develop an uncompromising awareness of these small distractions. You must recognize their true cost. Not just in time lost, but in opportunities missed, in dreams delayed, in potential left unexplored. Because while the world will tell you that 5 minutes won't matter, focus isn't just about doing one thing at a time. It's about creating momentum that multiplies your results over time. When you give undivided attention to your goals, your skills sharpen faster, your thinking becomes clearer, and your output grows in both quality and quantity. But here's the deeper truth. Focus doesn't just add value, it compounds it. Think of it like interest in a bank account. When you invest focus consistently into something meaningful, your craft, your business, your health, your mindset, it doesn't just grow linearly, it grows exponentially. Why? Because each focused session builds on the last. The lessons you learn stack, the experience deepens, the results begin to feed into each other. What you struggled with last month becomes second nature today, and what felt impossible before becomes your new standard. But the compounding effect only works when you are consistent, and consistency requires focused effort. Every time you break your focus, every time you stop and start again, you reset your momentum. It's like pushing a boulder uphill. If you keep pushing, even slowly, it keeps moving. But every time you stop, it slides backward and you have to start from the bottom again. That's what happens when you allow distractions to interrupt your progress. You lose not just the time, you lose the power of accumulation. Focused people aren't faster because they rush. They're faster because they stay locked in long enough for results to accelerate naturally. They're not constantly looking for shortcuts. Instead, they understand that mastery and momentum come from doing the same meaningful work repeatedly with undivided attention. Over time, that consistency compounds, and what once felt like a struggle becomes their strength. This compounding principle applies not just to skills, but also to confidence. Every focused hour you give to your mission tells your subconscious mind, I am committed. Every distraction you avoid, every urge you resist, every time you show up fully present, you're building a self-image of someone who finishes what they start. That identity, reinforced day after day, becomes a powerful engine for success. And perhaps most importantly, focus compounds your impact. The world doesn't need more noise, it needs more depth, more excellence, more people who have put in the time, energy, and concentration to produce something of real value. Your focus isn't just for your own growth, it's for the difference you'll make in the lives of others. When you focus deeply, you create work that matters, ideas that resonate, solutions that change things. And those effects ripple outward far beyond what you can see.